C.R. Wilson rolling into Outram, Saskatchewan late this Friday morning of July 22nd, 2016. This is the southern tip of the Trossachs Plains, which run down from Avonlea to the northwest, down the eastern slopes of the Missouri Coteau, between those and the Souris River. This is mostly undifferentiated glacial till through here, essentially glacial churned seabed which develops loamy, dark, solonitzic soils, I'm told. Salty. Looking off south, it was the Federal Conservative Party of R.B. Bennett who formed the Prairie Farm Rehabilitation Administration in 1935 and began buying up tracts of blown out land out here and stabilizing it with grass. These are now community pastures along with private pasturage and surviving native grasslands. Highway 18 heading southeast for Estevan, 26k away.
Amy DeBrune. At the end I ran Torquay and Outram here. Yeah, but they both handled about the same amount of grain, lots of grain, a million bushels every year.
What was right in here?
Sass Wheat Pool was there, and then Lake of the Woods had an elevator right in here, this low spot here. Station was right at the end of the boxcars there.
It was a standard Western Lines A2, two-story box with a dormer gable roof. They were everywhere in Saskatchewan. Built in 1914 at mile 15.6 from Estevan, the corner of Railway and Havelock Street. Then one block east is Campbell Street in the eastern end of town. This is the schoolyard. A 1955 aerial photographs shows 4 or 5 what looks to have been country schoolhouses collected on the western end of this property, along with a little stable and the required outbuildings. They must have got rid of the structures sometime around when they built the new school in the mid-60s. It's now closed and the kids go to Estevan for classes. Could play a game of ball or something. And there's the new school over on Dominion Avenue. And on Dominion Avenue, where anywhere else but the hamlet of Outram is known as Township Road 34. And looking eastward between the schoolyards, the old yard on the right and the new yard over here. And look what's parked over there. 62? No, 61. The new school, now a private residence, built on a former farmyard. Lots of pasture, some cereal crop. Yeah, Fargo. Kind of a rough ride, but get you there. Oh, near and dear to my heart, an old microbus, maybe a 61. Not very private for Canada. $2.16 maybe. Old Flathead 6. The top of Havelock Street and Main Street. A big, dark, hall-like building stood in the corner there, maybe a church. A store stood down at the end of the fence, facing Railway Avenue, across from that house there. So up and facing west, flying in along Dominion Avenue over the new school. the old schoolyard and looking at downtown. The hall stood where that long building stands now. There's a few houses, but not many. The Lake of the Woods elevator that Amy mentioned was built by the Estevan Grain Company in 1914, closed by the Saskatchewan Wheat Pool in 1966, the same year they completed this structure. In 1927, the pool had built number 603, and in 1966 they twinned it to this one, and I think the tall part, the cupola there, might be it.
And then in the 80s, late 80s, they come and they put about $1 million into here. They put that steel bin and put another leg system, upgraded the whole inside of it. And 10 years later, it's closed it down. Yeah.
How often do they run a train out?
Well, not very much. Often this year, they were going to do a bunch of oil, but you know that kind of all went downhill with the Quebec thing. Yeah. Well, it seemed like everything went, but they loaded some out of Bromhead, some oil there. They're making money with storing oil cars now. They get $7 a day for storing the car. It's the only way they're keeping it running now. Yeah, the guy that owns the elevator here is the president of Long Creek Rail. I live in the corner in that red, yeah. That was the old pool cottage, and I just bought it from him, retired right here, right?
The station stood right across Railway Avenue from Amy's house at the head of 3rd Avenue, right by the switch there. It was sold off in 1969. CPR completed this line west from Estevan as the Neptune branch in 1914. Since 2012, part of the Long Creek Railroad.
There was nothing, no services at all right now. Johnny Kiniak had a store here for many years. Right where see where that bin is over there? There's a stucco house there now. There was a post office. Kiniak right at the store. General store and post office all in one. There was ball diamonds. I don't know if did you come through there? You can go there. There was a school there and an old curling rink and stuff like that. And then after they built the new school, somebody lives in there now. It's the old stucco building. You'll be able to see that.
E.C. Erickson established the post office of Outram Station on May the 1st, 1914. The name was changed to just Outram on September the 17th, 1956. Named for the then notable alpinist Reverend James Outram. Outram was never incorporated, always a ward of the RM of Cambria number 6.
Never really did do anything in the town. Good place to raise a family anyway.
In southern Saskatchewan, Outram.